for tickets any minute. Because Kevin kept turning and looking at me every time somebody else new sat down in the section. I'm like, none of these people have tickets either. They're just taking our lead. I said, there's always sort of the same group that knows where to go and find the best seats down below that nobody's sitting in.
They're all locals. They're all
Right. Willie called me before the fight. He's like, dude, how is it? I said, get a $50 seat. Get a $50 seat, meet me at this fight. For those of you who don't know Willie, or at least you've never been into the archives, he is he would be the Manny Pacquiao you hear at the beginning of the show. He has an open seat to do this show forever, only for the crazy Manny Pacquiao shit. Until Manny retires, then he's going to have to get a new impression. So let me tell you about Jeff Horn and Terrence Crawford. Jeff Horn hit Terrence Crawford in the opening round harder than I've seen anybody hit Terrence Crawford, right? And for those of you who don't know, Terrence Crawford didn't make weight when he got on the scales and all that bullshit that went with.
Wait, Horn didn't. Horn didn't make weight.
Horn did not, right. Yeah. Horn did not make weight, right?
And did you hear what he said about that, Lee?
No, I did not.
He's blaming Top Rank. He thinks Top Rank messed with the scales.
You know what? There's a new thing where they're doing live stream social media up on the screens. Shout out to Evan and all the people over at Top Rank. They're really getting them up to speed on the social media stuff now that they're streaming. So they had all the quotes up on the stream. I had seen the quote. I didn't actually pay any attention because they're still having the fight.
I know, and what a stupid thing to say when you're going into the biggest fight of your life in another country, right? I mean, you want to start down talking the promoter that's throwing this fight?
I've been in a situation. Look, here's the funny part of all that, right? So, and I'm going to explain this for everybody listening. When you're in the main event, I don't even know why you put the effort in to make weight. Like, unless there's a title involved, who the fuck cares if you make weight or not? Like, let's say that you have a match. Hypothetically, Andrew, you've got a match against Oscar De La Hoya. And you're training, right? And you're a big name because you've taken out everybody, or you've got a belt, or whatever makes you special, right? But you're part of the draw. You're getting a 60-40 split. You're a real reason this fight's happening, right? You don't have to make weight. You know why? Because it's the day before the fight, and they're not sending everybody home. They're still going to have the fight. I have never heard of an instance since we've been doing this show, since I've been watching boxing, where somebody got on the scale, they didn't make weight, and somebody went, fuck it, I guess we should all just go home.
One of the biggest robberies ever was when Jose Luis Castillo in the rematch with Diego Corrales came in,
didn't even take it
3 pounds?
25 pounds over. Yeah. It was crazy.
They go on with that fight, and Corrales gets
Castillo beats
out.
Him almost. Yeah, it was almost criminal.
Yeah, it was. One left hook. I mean, these guys go to war, Lee, in the first fight. They go to war. And then the second fight, you come 3 pounds heavy and knock them out in what, I think 4 rounds, I think that fight was over.
I think it deserves to be said
Eric
that
Morales,
most boxers, wait, this is the truth, Andrew. Most boxers should be given a lot of credit for even making the attempt, especially big names. If you're Triple G, you don't have to show up on weight. They're going to have the fight. Sign the 60-40.
I sort of
have the fight.
I sort of get what you're saying, but there's a sportsmanship behind this, right?
There's a lot more sports, and my point is, I don't think we give boxers enough credit. I mean, he was a half pound over on the scale. He was 147, and Crawford's 146.5. It's not like massive differences in the weight. Oh. It's not huge difference. He made the effort. Okay, sure, he's going to be stripped of the title. Sure, Crawford's going to get it no matter what. This is the biggest payday of Jeff Horn's life.
He had to go into a shower. See, that's what he was pissed off about, Lee, is because Jeff Horn's a big welterweight. If he has to starve himself to get to 147, and then you tamper with the scale and actually say you need a half pound more, do you know how hard that is on your body to get to try to drain that last half a pound out when your body's already in tip-top shape? You've done all you could to get to 147. That's why if they did tamper with the scale, which Horn would have to have some solid solid evidence to come out and say that. He should not have done that. That is going to hurt his future.
Well, okay, here's the one thing that Jeff Horn knows, every Australian in the building knows, and what I knew that I hipped Kevin up to because it was his first fight. I said, let me explain. If this goes to a scorecard and this fight is even remotely close, Terrence Crawford's going to win.
Of course.
I said,
he's in America.
I said, even if Horn puts on the fight of his life and decisively wins 7 out of 12 rounds, I said, Kevin, he's not going to be called the winner. Bob will make this fight about Terrence Crawford if it goes to a scorecard. If it was a complete shutout,
but hold on, Reed.
It would be a draw.
If Horn was better looking, then he would have had a leg in this fight. But he's not. When he beat Manny,
better looking.
Yes, because he's light complected. I'm sorry. If he has the looks of Oscar, Top Rank rides him to the moon. There is no Terrence Crawford. ESPN don't give a shit about Terrence Crawford if Jeff Horn was actually a crossover star, but he's not. What? The guy had the biggest win in Australia ever. 50,000 people watched him. What did he get from that? What? He hasn't done nothing. He's not a crossover star. HBO don't use him.
I get that. He's an Australian. And I said this during the fight to Kevin. I said he's the best fighter in Australia in that weight class. That's not a cross-section. There's nobody. What is he fighting? Aborigines? Yeah. I mean, seriously. Who is he fucking fighting in Australia? I get that he's undefeated. I get that he's tough. And I get everything that went on. He's not Terrence Crawford. He hasn't fought that level.
It was all an illusion.
It wasn't. I'm not even going to go that far.
You didn't have him beating Pacquiao, so he should never have been here.
But Pacquiao was a shot.
The only reason why Jeff Horn...
The other lesson that I gave Kevin that night was the discussion of what a shot fighter is. He said, why did Pacquiao lose? I said, because Pacquiao got old. He literally got old. And I said, it happens to every fighter. The reason you watch Floyd Mayweather is I'm waiting to see him get old in the ring. He goes, he quit before that happened. I said, that's right.
Top Rank.
He quit before we saw it happen.
You need to tell your brother-in-law also this, people. Top Rank gave up on Manny Pacquiao just like Freddie Roach did. Now, he might not come out and say it, but I'm telling you, there was a disagreement in that camp about Manny fighting Matisse. Freddie Roach did not want it, and Manny needs these checks. He doesn't need $10,000 checks for fighting bums over in the Philippines.
He's not getting $10,000. He's probably making
if he
$1 million.
does not have the American side, yes, he is. Yes, he is. Manny Pacquiao ain't shit without America. You must believe that. He can't go to the UK and sell out over there. No one gives a damn about Manny over there. He needs these American Filipinos to continue to...
No, he can fight in Asia.
Bro, you were crazy.
He can fight in Asia,
why isn't he doing it? Why isn't he in Macau?
He is fighting. Where do you think Kuala Lumpur is?
He's shot. Manny Pacquiao is shot. Top Rank knows it. Freddie Roach knows it. When he gets in the ring with Matisse, you are all going to know it because he's going to sleep that night.
Okay, and then what do we say if he somehow miraculously wins that fight?
It matters how he wins because he isn't.
No, yes, it doesn't. Because he's fighting in Asia, so they're going to give him the benefit.
Where is he fighting?
Kuala Lumpur.
Yeah, I'm not sure Matisse is going to get a fair shake out there, bro, so it matters.
That's right. He's not. Wait, I can guarantee that he's not.
Exactly. So I can't be like, oh, Manny's on top of the world if he has a Jeff Horn decision. What if we all say, oh, he lost that fight, I don't give a shit what those judges say. Well, then that does nothing for Manny's legacy. He gets him another paycheck, but it's not like we're going to, we must see how he defeats Matisse if he does. But no, everybody has abandoned him. Don't you guys see this? Top Rank and Freddie Roach have left Manny Pacquiao because there is nothing left. He was supposed to fight Crawford last night. He was supposed to get TKO'd in the 9th round last night. He was supposed to make Crawford a crossover pay-per-view star. He stopped that from Top Rank, and Top Rank did him dirty. That's all that's going on here. Top Rank has done this with Pacquiao his whole career. If you guys listen, Bradley and Jeff Horn were both decisions given to the opponent because Manny wasn't doing what he was told.
Which takes me to my final assessment of that fight, which was the betting. So the overs and unders were 9 full rounds. What would you have bet, Andrew?
I would have bet over. You know that because
me too. Me too. I thought Hornet. And by the way, if anybody who watched the fight, they stopped it in the 9th round with 15 seconds left. And Horn wasn't that hurt. In fact, my brother-in-law goes, he wasn't that hurt. I said, yeah, he's got to be done before the money line. Like, they stopped it on the money line. I don't want to say that it was fixed or that the gamblers... But boy, man, when you stop a fight with 15 seconds left and the guy's still defending himself, it's tough. I mean, Crawford turned it on. So the one thing that there was a takeaway.
Lee, all you need to do is find out if Floyd had put some money on the over. Because if Floyd walked into the MGM and dropped $1 million, maybe they didn't want to give it back.
Maybe.
He seems to always do that out there, right?
There is one last perspective I had on the fight going into this. I didn't think up to that point Terrence Crawford had ever been substantially hit by a true, welter, like somebody in the welterweight division, like somebody who was a big guy. Yep. Hornet hit him. Throughout the fight. Big punches. But it was like a 1-to-12 ratio. Oh. So, and Hornet has a solid left-right combination. He has a big punch. And he caught Crawford. And it usually just pissed off Crawford, who'd turn around and batter the crap out of Jeff Hornet. So I got a couple of things answered. One, don't bet on white guys is still true. Don't bet on white guys, people. Right? Number 2, Terrence Crawford has a better chin than I thought he did. And that's what I learned out of this fight, which I would say this for anybody in the welterweight division. If this is where Jeff Horn's going with this, which is to make himself a viable, welterweight contender and start getting involved. I guess that's the point. He's the WBO champion now. So is the goal now to turn Terrence Crawford into a real welterweight? Because he looks really small.
No, he's not going back to junior welterweight. Lee, he won all the titles there. So I believe they're done. They're moving on. His legacy is solidified at junior welterweights. All the big money's hit the 147 division anyways, right? You got the Spence fight.
No, that's the money. Look, that's Bob Arum's sweet spot, right? And now that the PBC is sort of falling apart.
Yes.
How do you not... You've got to start looking at, Errol Spence, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia.
Big fight right there. That one can easily get made right now. Could be at the Barclays Center, and they would sell it out. They would absolutely... Garcia versus Terrence Crawford would sell out the Barclays Center right now.
Yep. So now you've got Spence, Thurman, and the WBC.
Oh, forget about Thurman. You know what? We're leaving Keith Thurman out of this until he decides to come back to boxing. For some reason, the kid put out something that he might not be back until 2019 now, Lee. He's absolutely retired right now.
It's tough.
It's sad. I've never seen a fighter win 2 titles and literally start acting like they're walking legends. Now, I don't know if this is all a fabricated thing made by the PBC. Hey, we want you to piss some people off, so just start going around acting like you're the shit now. Or if he's actually turned. If Keith Thurman has actually turned into one of these guys. Because remember, before the titles, he's one of the coolest dudes in boxing, right? Guitar playing. Right. Meditating, right? Just seemed like he's his own guy. Now look at him. Now he's got the whole PBC thing going for him now, and he wants to be an asshole and have people mad at him. Got a meme the other day saying he's not fighting until 2019. It's very sad. I've never seen a fighter fall off
He can do the Spence deal. For Crawford has Spence to look at. He has Matisse to look at. I mean, there's enough for him here at this division. I'm just telling everybody that's listening. Let me explain. Crawford is a really small welterweight.
Okay.
He looks small next to Jeff.
So he's not going 154. 147 is probably his top.
It's 147's the cap. He's all the way there.
I'll tell you, I liked how he looked on the scale. He looked like he had the physique for a welterweight.
He's a whole foot shorter than Jeff Horn, and it looked it. And he still beat the shit out of him. And that is your complete scorched earth report from Las Vegas.
Good.
I hope you guys all got to watch the fight. Andrew, it is now your turn to explain and expand why anybody would watch the exact same fight again.
And it was.
I love all the.
And it absolutely
I read
was,
the press reports, by the way, where everybody's like, "Oh, they just picked up where they left off." You mean with Santa Cruz winning again? I mean,